Hi, I'm Coach Shermaine, your host, and welcome to Get Out of Your Own Way, the podcast. A podcast where we discuss all things leadership development, personal growth, and have real conversations about the hurdles, some of the pitfalls that we experience when we're trying to reach our goals. The mission of this podcast is to bring tips, strategies, things that you can actually use to help you achieve success. And what's success? Success is how you describe it, not anyone else. So sit back, relax, but lock in, let's commit, and let's go. Hey there, goal crushers. It's Coach Shermaine here, and thank you so much for tuning into the podcast, Get Out of Your Own Way. And I feel like I have to start this with just celebrating that this is my very first episode, and this has been 8 years in the making. And so I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for you taking the time, your time to tune in to what we're doing here. And so you may be saying, why is this podcast called Get Out of Your Own Way? Well, many of you have heard that phrase, right? You've known someone that is great, right? But there's just a little something that they can do to level up to be better. It's getting out of their own way. Or maybe you even heard it yourself from a coach or someone that you really do appreciate, a supervisor or a leader or a boss of yours. You'd be so amazing if you could just get out of your own way. Well, that's what this is about. Our first series is taking the time to pull together a personal growth plan. It's the end of 2024. We're going into 2025, and I want you to crush your goals in 2025. So that's what we're here. That's what we're talking about. So why a personal growth plan? Well, it's extremely important to take the time to iron out what it is that you want to achieve. All of us have goals. All of us have dreams and aspirations and things that we want to achieve. But 98% of the folks that set out to achieve a goal fail. 98%. Well, because you're a goal crusher and because you're tuning in to Coach Shermaine's Get Out of Your Own Way podcast, I want you to be the 2%. And I'm going to help you and make sure that you get there. So let's go back to this growth plan. Really, it's all about taking the time to reflect on 2024. How did things go for me? What do I love about 2024? What do I want to change about 2024? And what was traumatic in 2024? All of us have those instances. If you really were to sit back and think about the year that were absolutely horrific, well, we've all been there. Oftentimes, we don't talk about our failures. And I think it's important for me to be vulnerable and be transparent with you. And I say that it took me 8 years to get to this point. What I will share is that I found myself in a time in my career where I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel as though what I brought to the table was appreciated. I didn't feel as though the experiences that I brought to the organization were any longer serving them. And so, you all have heard it. Doesn't matter who you are, how much experience, how much knowledge you bring to the table, everyone is exposable. And so I sit here today because I had to make that decision. Either I'm going to wait and have someone give me a seat at the table, or I'm going to create my own table. And I have to tell you that today I'm so excited that being with you and working in my practice, 100% coaching, is my table. And sometimes you got to do just that. As long as you look at your failures as a learning, it wasn't a complete failure. So think about that. What do I want to change? What do I want to do differently? 2024, a good year, a bad year, meh, that type of year, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do in 2025 can definitely be realized. And so if you take the time to sit down and think about what you want to achieve, and we put in the work, you can get there. So on today's episode, I want us to chat about goal setting issues because trust me, there are going to be hurdles, there are going to be pitfalls that you come across with setting the goals. And I'm going to tell you, leveling up and improving, it's not easy. It takes a lot of self-reflection time and it takes a lot of work. But if you approach your personal growth plan with already knowing that there could potentially be some hurdles that you have to overcome, you're more likely to realize success. So 3 of the hurdles that I want us to chat about today are lack of clarity, setting unrealistic goals, because we all do, and a lack of being specific with your goals. So, lack of clarity, not having a clear vision of what you want to achieve or how you measure your progress. So, how do I overcome that, Coach Shermaine? Because many of us have been there, including myself. And so, what I would advise, or what I would coach, or what I have done is really taking the time to think about what you want to achieve. We talk about vision all the time. If you want to make sure your vision and your goals are clear, I ask you, what does it look like once you've achieved your goal? How does it feel once you've achieved your goal? And what does it sound like once you've achieved your goal? If you take a few moments and you answer those 3 questions, the clarity that you need will come. I assure you of this. Secondly, unrealistic goals. Okay, so if you set goals that are too ambitious, what's going to happen? You're not going to reach them. So it's all good to want to be MJ, right? It's all good to want to have that, jump shot. It's all good to want to have Pippen on my side, for the assist. But do you really have what it takes to be an all-star NBA player? Be realistic with yourself. Don't set goals that you won't be able to achieve. Now, the one thing that I will say is that if you can achieve that goal by yourself, it's not big enough. So you want to be ambitious, but you want to make sure that it's something that you can achieve. Make sure that the goal is aligned with your personal capabilities. Just like the MJ and the Scottie Pippen example. Can you achieve? Do you have the capabilities to make that happen? So let's just make sure that they're achievable goals. And all of the goals that you set, or the personal growth plan that you set forth, it should touch 4 facets of your life. Think about each goal from a personal perspective, professional perspective, financial perspective, and a spiritual perspective. And for those of you that don't really have a spiritual perspective, blah, 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 sorry about that, on life, it's all good. Think about your home and your environment. How can you impact that? I wanted to make sure that I got that in. Lastly, lack of specificity. Yes, that was definitely a tongue twister. But you want to make sure that you're defining your goals and with clear action steps. And that's what this podcast is about. That's what getting out of your own way and staying out of your own way is all about. It's about actionable goals and how you're going to make it happen. And so I always say that when we have an accountability partner, no matter who it is, no matter if it's someone that you trust in your family, in your circle of influence, a spouse, a relative, or even a coach like myself, those individuals will help you stay on track. Those individuals are going to hold up the mirror, give you an opportunity to look at it, or what I like to say now, taking a selfie, is the new age term for taking a look in the mirror. And I call it taking a selfie because pictures are a lot more lasting than a reflection in the mirror, but we can talk about that later. But you want to make sure that you have someone in your life that can hold you accountable, that can make sure that the action steps that you've set out for yourself are important. So, when you think about lack of clarity, unrealistic goals, and lack of specificity, all of those hurdles can be overcome. And not all of us really experience those hurdles. Our time together is about taking little bits of pieces and golden nuggets that are going to work for you and that really do speak to your life. So, for myself, what is it that I did to get to where I am today? Well, as I mentioned before, I've been in business, actually a retail executive for over 20 years. And along my journey with Nordstrom, with Lord and Taylor as a vice president, and with Raymore and Flanagan Furniture and Mattresses, I met some great people. And I kept my ear to the ground, but also received feedback. And it is not easy, let me tell you, when people have feedback. And for those of you that are listening, I've got my my air quotes on feedback. Well, feedback can be tough. It really can be. And we'll have the opportunity to discuss that down the road in a future series. But sitting in this seat, it took me 8 years to get here. I've been a certified coach with the John Maxwell team for just that long. And when I first received my certification, I wanted to have my own coaching practice. But life happens, and life is going to happen to you too. It happens to all of us. But if we keep that goal and the vision in front of us, it's easier to achieve. Because you're tuning in to Get Out of Your Own Way with me, because I'm referring to you as a goal crusher, you probably say to yourself, I want to do that. You listen to these motivational speakers and it's like, rah, rah, I can do it. I want to do it. Motivation is short-lived. Inspiration is internal. You have to inspire yourself and motivate yourself. And when you have that plan in place and you commit to the plan and you have that accountability partner, that's where the magic happens. That is where the magic happens. So, you're coming along this journey with me, and I so appreciate you spending the time with me. But I want to make sure that you get something out of this because that's what this is about. So, we're reflecting on 2024, right? We're thinking about the goals that we want to achieve in 2025. This is not a New Year's resolution because what happens to New Year's resolutions when we set them? I'm not even in the car with you. I'm not in your home with you. I know exactly what happens to New Year's resolutions We set them, and by the end of February, what happens? They're not there. They are short-lived. This is about real growth. This is about truly doing the work, putting a plan in place, and making it happen. So if you need a little guidance, I got you. You can go to my website, coachshermaine.com. I have a 99 cent free, what do they call that? Free 99. I have a free 99 download for you. And take the time to invest in yourself because you deserve it. But as you ride with me and we continue through this series, I promise you that you will have the tools that you need to pull together an amazing growth plan, and you'll have some action steps that you can take to reach your goals in 2025. So if you like the episode, please, please, please subscribe. You know where the button is. Subscribe. You can also hit me up on IG at Coach Shermaine, or as I mentioned earlier, my website, coachshermaine.com. I really do appreciate you taking the time to spend with me. And this is a dream realized. And because you're with me, the sky is the limit. And you make it a great day because you can.